Hello, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Speechless. I'm your host, Evie Oliverio, and today we'll be debating the issues that matter. On tonight's Speechless, we'll be discussing the death of Fidel Castro, politics in other countries, and Cyber Monday. It's going to be another great show, so stay tuned. Ready, set, Speechless. And welcome back to Speechless. Now, before we get started, let's get to meet our debaters for tonight. Please welcome from the Meninos Manatees, Alicia Preek and Joseph Gurkhan. How are you guys feeling about tonight?
I am ready for this debate.
Ooh.
Feeling good.
Good. Always want to feel good. And from the Coolidge Cougars, Nako Nartor and Patricio Gill. Now, Nako, a little birdie told me tonight is your last episode. How does that make you feel? Because I'm pretty bummed.
Honestly, I only did this show to get closer to executive producer Emily Steichman. But now that she's going to the Emerson Los Angeles program, it was all for nothing.
Wow, that's tough. I feel for you. Whew. All right, well, let's get right into our first debate of the night. Communist revolutionary Fidel Castro died this week. And during his 4+ decades of leadership over the island nation of Cuba, he stirred some controversy, to say the least. On one hand, he was hailed as a man of the people, providing health and education reform to the nation. But on the other, he wore an iron fist, often imprisoning or executing many of his political opponents and destroying lives in the process. So debaters, given Castro's status as a polarizing figure, should we consider him a hero or is he a villain? Debaters?
Well, I can start. Fidel Castro is not a villain. This is not a Disney movie. Life is not black and white. However, he was a terrible tyrant and a dictator to his people. And as the question says, he did some good things. That's a given. But he was also, he violated a lot of human rights laws within his country and overstayed his reign in Cuba.
I agree with your first statement. He is not a villain, and he did do some good things while he led the country. He was a product of the times. So what he did while he was a leader was for the best. It was like the best thing he could do for his country. He promised to restore political and civil liberties and healthcare, and he delivered.
But he still shouldn't be hailed as a hero. In some senses, he did promote a revolution around the world. He started a movement, but that's still not heroic, as within his country and within his own people, he separated a lot of family. He left many devastated, left many to escape their own countries just to find independence.
Anyone who opposed him was subject to possible torture or being killed, and actually at one point 5% of the Cuban population was imprisoned, which is more than Stalin or Hitler was able to achieve.
Right. You may say that he's a tyrant. However, would a tyrant receive over 90 international awards, which includes the Hero of Soviet Union, the National Gold Medal, the Gold Medal of Senate by the Spain, and then the Commemorative Medal of Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Do you think a tyrant would receive all those awards for being a torturous and human-abusing person?
Well,
How many awards do you think Kim Jong-un has?
Hitler was Man of the Year.
Well, you may say that he's been abusing humans. However, he was protecting Cubans from U.S. threats by allowing Soviets to build nuclear weapons in Cuba. Now, you may say that caused the Cuban Missile Crisis. However, because of that, Cuba is now a one-party socialist state. Policies like Alicia said here, that is expanding healthcare and education. I believe in that state it is making a benefit for the country itself.
But what do you feel about basic human rights, the freedom of speech, the freedom of press? People were suppressed, they were silent, they couldn't speak out against him, even though he did help education and he did help others in their health system. He was still suppressing his people. He didn't allow them to. There was no freedom in his country. What's the use of having all of that if you cannot be a free person?
Well, I think a person who has been a prime minister for 47 years has helped the people. He has gave away land to people, and not only when he had power in 1959, he represented what the people wanted. He gave them to them, and like I said, he gave them the education, the health care, and I think another problem is that because we're calling him a tyrant because he stood up against America. He said that the original dictator before him was supported by the Americans, by America. So he was like, no more because you're being abused by America. So now he's standing up and is now against America. That's why we're all calling him.
I'd like to go back to your point on how he was leader for 47 years. No one should do anything for that long. Woody Allen shouldn't be making movies anymore. No one wants anyone to do anything for 47 years. I think this alone made him a villain, to be honest.
And and maybe in 1959 he represented the people. He had the ideals that other people wanted to implement, but he overstayed his regime. He should have
overstayed
left.
his welcome.
Yeah, he overstayed his welcome. He should have let other people lead. That's what makes him a dictator. That he stood in power for so long,
Well, I
and
think
nobody
a
could
person
go against
who
him.
is going to be a prime minister for 47 years doesn't do it because he wants to abuse humans or it's just too long. He's doing it because he's doing it for the people.
And for a majority
Still
of those
abused
47 years, he helped the economy. He grew the economy. In 1980, the Cuban economy was at the highest it had ever been in so long. And so if he's going to be in like a leader for 47 years, it's because that's what the people want. And after he died, the people were storming the streets mourning his death because he was their leader.
If you're going to be prime minister for that long, the economy is going to be bad and it's going to be good. I wouldn't say that was necessarily his doing.
And if people wanted him for so long, then why did he have to kill people for going against his word? Like, why would even people go against him? Why would so many people be in jail?
I mean, in every situation, in every economy, you're going to have people that agree with you and disagree with you.
But you
That's
don't
just
kill
part
them.
of being a leader.
You don't kill them, though. That's what makes you a tyrant.
Well, that's all the time we have right now. And it'll be interesting to see the result of this one. And for that, we call on the judges. Welcome, William Connell, Sam Goldstein, and Victoria Bartkovich. So, what do you guys think?
Well, I think that, as you said, it's hard to call someone good. It's hard to say that there's good and evil in the world. And while Fidel Castro did include some human rights successes in his dictatorship, I have to give this one to the Cougars, just because they really drove home the point.
I'm going to have to go against that and go with the Manatees. I think that they gave a lot of great statistics to back up their argument, and that is why I'm going with them.
Heated debate. While I do think that the Manatees brought up several good points, including that Castro was a product of the times and that he followed up on his promises initially, the one argument that I think the Cougars responded very well to was the awards. The 90-plus awards, while they are a great achievement, Patricio's retort by saying Hitler won Man of the Year pretty much sold it for me, along with the various human rights violations, and saying that 47 years is just too much for any position. So I'm going to give it to the Cougars.
Congratulations, Cougars. You guys have won the first debate of the night. But don't go anywhere, because there are still 2 more debates to come after the break. So stay tuned for more Speechless.
Wow, our debates are on fire. Ah! Oh no, why did I say that? Oh no, I'm on fire still and it's so hot. Why have I done this? Oh no, I'm still on fire, but watch Speechless on the Emerson channel. It's really good and full of action.
Welcome back to Speechless. And now it's time for tonight's second debate of the night. Now, the whole world sat on the edge of its seat observing the 2016 American presidential elections. But coverage on foreign elections, even those of our major allies and rivals, hardly appear at all in the 24-hour news cycle. Is this sort of knowledge important for the average American? I mean, in other words, are Americans to be as informed about the politics of other major countries as they are about ours? Debaters, what do you think?
Yeah, I think we can't expect to be able to participate in the global conversation if we're not going to bother to be informed. We're just shooting ourselves in the foot if we're not going to look into global, other countries' politics and news.
And there's a lot of human rights violation happening around the world that we should be aware of and maybe like give aid to the right sources. And people should, if people are aware, they will be more willing to contribute to donations.
I mean, Americans have a hard enough time being aware of their own country's politics. I think it'll be hard to expect them to be aware of other countries, let alone their own.
That is a good point, but I don't think that ignorance is an excuse for further ignorance. I think that this is an opportunity to look both domestically and internationally and just try to educate ourselves more overall.
I agree, but I think Americans first need to learn how to be informed about their own politics before we expect them to be informed about other politics. Because if you're not informed about what's happening in your home and in your area, how can you expect to offer aid and solace to other countries?
That's a great point, but not everyone is going abroad for aid. A lot of Americans are just going because they got wanderlust and they want to go abroad. They could give fewer knowledges about America, but if they're going to go abroad, they're going to look like idiots if they don't know anything about the countries they're going to. They're going to make us look like idiots if they don't know anything about the country they're going to, and they're going to get in a lot of trouble. They're going to not be able to read signs and stuff. You have to know if you want to go anywhere besides here, and lots of people do, especially people who don't know that much about this country.
And another thing is that an awareness of the world around the average American also affects the political view inside the country, as politicians can use misinformation to fearmonger and manipulate voters into thinking what they want. They can say whatever they want about other countries and other countries' political systems, and people, due to their ignorance or their lack of awareness, won't even care to investigate or like read for their own.
I mean, let's think about it this way. America is like one of the most powerful countries in the world. And so we have the power to affect change in other countries. But if we don't understand our own power and our own politics, how can we expect to make proper change in other countries?
I think we are a pretty powerful country. I don't know how long that's going to last given the state of things. And I think that the most powerful thing we could do is take cues from other countries to better ourselves and to learn more and lead by other people's examples.
Well, I think we should educate ourselves first before we go to other people.
But maybe the whole education system should change. The problem with ignorance towards the world lies within the U.S. education system. Not even politics, but most Americans are unaware of even countries existing. They couldn't name a country on a map. They couldn't name a flag. Obviously, some can, but there's still some issues there. And maybe fixing the education system will also lead to awareness in American politics as well as foreign politics.
But fixing the education system, that's a whole nother conversation. If we focus on this argument at hand, other countries need to know about us because we affect them directly. Because we're so powerful, we don't as much need to know about other countries because they don't affect us as much as a whole.
Perhaps not, but what does affect us is American exceptionalism. It's a plague that has swept our nation and poisoned the minds of our children. We think that we are too big to be beat, and we're going to be the ones beating ourselves as a result.
But don't you think we have somewhat of a right to that mindset at this point because we've done so much for other countries and because we have built ourselves up? We pulled ourselves away from the British and we've built ourselves up as a powerful country. So don't you think we deserve that right?
I think that historically we've done a lot great, some not so much, and we have earned the spotlight in the world, but we're not going to have it forever, nor should we have it forever. And if we continue on this vein, we certainly will have to relinquish that. We're going to become a bigoted and big-headed nation of people who don't know anything.
But America is really good at moving with the change, right? So when that time comes, we will we will change ourselves and we will make ourselves more aware of other countries' politics. But until that time comes, I don't think it's necessary right now.
Well, when is that time?
When we're no longer the most powerful country in the world.
But by that time, it will be too late. Why would you not want to be the most
I mean,
powerful
if by
country in
that
the
time
world?
it's too late, then that means we've held on to our power for a very long time.
Well, I've also read somewhere that the basic lack of awareness and understanding among the public makes it even harder for policy makers to formulate positions, and it affects the outcomes within the...
Oh no! Some great points you
Middle.
had there,
Yes.
but unfortunately, time is up. Okay, judges, who got this one?
Well, I think that was a very good argument on both sides of the table. And while American exceptionalism is certainly a problem, I do have to give this one to the manatees for their point about making sure that America is educated about its own political system before venturing outside of our borders.
You know, I am going to go with the Cougars because of something that Nako said. Ignorance does not excuse further ignorance. That really stuck in my craw, and that's ultimately what sold it for me.
Yeah, well, I feel like I agree with the Cougars on the fundamental basis of the question. They also brought up a lot of great points, how we should be aware of the world if we want to visit it, how we will be our own downfall. Because of that, I gotta agree with the manatees because of their arguments, strictly arguments, you know, just saying that Americans should be informed about their own domestic issues, domestic problems before they go and dip their feet into other countries' waters. So for that reason, you know, I just got to give it to the manatees on this one.
All right, congratulations, manatees. You are the winners of debate number 2. I love positivity. Debates are heating up, and you won't want to miss the final one of the night. We'll be right back after this short break.
Lauren, what are you doing?
I'm getting ready to host Good Morning Emerson, of course.
Good Morning Emerson? What's that?
It's the best morning show ever that's on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m.
Wow, how can I work on this?
Yeah, let's get going. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather.
It's the third and final debate of the night, so let's get started. Just as Black Friday has become a reoccurring event in the USA, so has Cyber Monday. Now, both allow shoppers to get great deals, with the only difference being that one is in stores and the other is online. With such similarities between the two events, is it really necessary to have both Black Friday and Cyber Monday? Debaters, what do you think?
Black Friday has established itself as part of like the Thanksgiving tradition. After people are done stuffing their faces on Thursdays, they want to go out on Black Friday and enjoy the shopping experience and line up to get what they've been dying to get all week or all year for a cheaper price.
I don't know if enjoy is the word I would associate with Black Friday. I think generally the stereotype, which is rooted in truth, is that it promotes a culture of violence, a culture of crowds, which I hate, and just general fighting.
And consumption. It's not even a tradition. It's just a scheme of companies and businesses made up in order to sell more and promote consumption. And all the negative
But
things that
aren't
come
all
with it.
traditions somewhat of a scheme that companies promote to get people to fall into their trap? Americans have fallen into the scheme, as you put it, of Black Friday. And if they didn't enjoy it, I don't think they would put themselves in that atmosphere of violence in crowds if there wasn't something to gain from it.
I don't think that all of our traditions are things that have been kept on because people like them.
Let's just talk about
Examples of some traditions?
Turkey.
Uh,
or negative traditions?
No, I don't want to say it. But we've just done a lot of bad stuff in our country
Well-
for the sake of keeping things going the way they were.
Well, I'm sorry for all the bad stuff, but let's focus on the good stuff. Firstly,
Good stuff.
it's a Christmas tradition. It marks the first day of Christmas, first day.
Christmas consumption.
So it's like a Christmas shopping season where it marks the first day and you have all these sales. Think about all that. Not only about after the day of Thanksgiving, you gotta walk off the turkey food, on Black Friday. As well, it's a prime reason that companies and schools have a 4-day weekend. I mean, some schools recognize it as a day after Thanksgiving.
Do you consider, when you think of Christmas, do you actually think of accidents and people hurting each other over TVs and
No, when I think of
t-shirts?
Christmas, I think of the great gifts my family bought me on Black Friday.
I think of the time I spent with my family not fighting people in the face at Black Friday.
It's
And
not
you
all
can
about
get-
fighting. It's
Yeah, but
about
you
being
can-
savvy and going out and getting what you want.
That's what Cyber Monday is for. Like, you can get gifts for your family. It's the
But
same
you don't get
sales,
the shopping experience. You don't get to go to the mall. You don't get to try on your clothes.
but you get to buy gifts for Christmas to give them. Like, you don't have to actually
You can
fight
still
for your
buy
stuff.
gifts on Black Friday, and it isn't always dangerous. I mean, if you go to New York City, okay, that's different. But if you're going to my hometown, Milford, Pennsylvania, it's okay. It's okay. So if we just drive out 30 minutes out of Boston, there's probably a local supermart somewhere where you can get great Black Friday deals.
Well, Black Friday was actually started as a marker for how sales were going to go for the holiday season. So when things are selling for a lot and there is a lot of demand on Black Friday, that shows companies that they can charge more for things as the holidays go on. If no one were to purchase things on Black Friday, things would be marked down for the rest of the season, and people would overall be getting to get sales and buy cheaper gifts for their loved ones.
All right.
And Thanksgiving, Black Friday is not a Christmas holiday. It's more like a Thanksgiving holiday. And let's think about the retail workers that have to work instead of having to spend time with their family just so people can get what they want, to get cheap gifts for Christmas, when they could be, I don't know, having dinner, spending time with family they probably don't see a lot. And as well as the people themselves who go buy stuff on Black Friday, they get to miss out on Thanksgiving.
Well, I think the retailer employees who are working on Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, they're already rewarding themselves by getting paid for working on that same day. Imagine the overtime hours. You're starting from 1 a.m. all the way till 7 p.m. That's something. And not only, let's consider what's the things that Black Friday can do that Cyber Monday can't. For example, technology isn't always there. Come on, we don't always have access to laptops and computers. So not only when you go on Cyber Monday and you click the button to buy this and you have to do shipping, that's a madness. You have to wait for shipping. If I want to go to Black Friday, I get the stuff right there. Whoa, I can measure it, try it on, color.
I'd
stuff.
much rather wait for shipping than wait outside at 6 in the morning.
Okay, then how about if you
Well,
go
Black
to Cyber
Friday now
Monday?
starts Thursday evening, so you no longer have to wait at 6 in the morning. You can just go in, walk off your turkey dinner, and at 6 p.m. and you can get it done at night, and then you have all of Friday to spend with your families, which is what you were worried about.
That's true, but one of the benefits of Cyber Monday is that you can actually have even better deals because it empowers people to shop around and look at different websites and compare prices and get really the truest, the best deal.
That's
And that's
great,
what
that's
Christmas is
great.
all about.
Ooh, a spicy debate that was. And that is, that's tonight's third and final debate. Soon our judges will deliberate and pick a winner. But first, let's see what people on the street had to say. Take it away, Aria.
Thanks, Evie. I'm your segment host, Aria Middleman, and the Speechless team is taking the streets of Boston today, asking Emerson students whether Black Friday is really still a thing or whether it's overpowered by Cyber Monday and Cyber Week. I know my wallet is pretty overpowered, and I'm sure a bunch of Emerson students can agree as well, but why don't we ask them themselves? You know how today is Cyber Monday and this whole week is Cyber Week? Do you think that because, that's a thing, that Black Friday loses any of its significance?
Well, I think Black Friday is kind of dumb because, I mean, you can Cyber Monday, you can be at your house, keyboarding away, and not get trampled. I mean, come on.
I think so. Like, predominantly because of our generation leaning towards free shipping like Amazon Prime, we are more inclined to be, well, and to be frank, lazy and stay at home and buy things where we don't have to go outside. There's the extra travel cost for us, so it really is a big difference.
I think it might be the opposite. At least from where I'm from, it sounds like Black Friday is like the thing, and everyone's like, what's Cyber Monday?
What would you consider the appeal of Black Friday to be?
Swarms of people and then the adrenaline of it, but there's also the news reports of people getting crushed, and I guess that kind of strays people away from it. So it really depends. I guess the instant deal and the idea of grabbing something and having it immediately is self-gratification.
I feel like the appeal to Black Friday is kind of like the thrill. It's like you never really know if you're going to get trampled or not. It's like you kind of wait outside for 24 hours. You screw Thanksgiving because I can wait outside Best Buy getting the new
Right, who needs
PlayStation 5.
Seems like most people would rather be inside with their Fritos and their hot chocolate and their Netflix and on Cyber Monday, which is preferably where I want to be right now. But knowing me, I was out on Black Friday and will be participating in Cyber Monday as well. But besides the point, I'm your segment host, Aria Middleman, and thank you for watching this week's episode. And don't change that channel. Speechless. We'll be right back.
Lauren, what are you doing?
I'm getting ready to host Good Morning Emerson, of course.
Good Morning Emerson? What's that?
It's the best morning show ever that's on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m.
Wow, how can I work on this?
Yeah, let's get going. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather.
And welcome back to Speechless. Judges, who won the final debate?
Well, again, great points made on both sides of the table. However, American consumerism is a plague, and I also hate crowds, so I'm going to have to give this one to the Cougars.
Whew, that was a whirlwind. You know, I really agreed with the point about tradition and, you know, it's important to uphold that, but I really agreed more with the fact that retail workers should be able to spend time with their families as a retail worker myself, so I'm going to have to go with the Cougars.
Heated debate. I did not see this coming, and I thought it would be different from my two fellow judges, but I was riding that manatee train this whole entire debate. I think that, you know, why would people go out in the crowds if they didn't really enjoy it? With Black Friday, you can have your things and try them on, and I really like how Joe just blurted out, think about the sales. So, I mean, I'd go with the manatees, but Cougars, great work. Great job.
Congratulations, Cougars. You have won tonight's final debate. And considering the winners of the other debates, Cougars, you are tonight's champions. How are you going to celebrate with the win after the show?
I'm going to celebrate right now with a little thing I like to call the leg dab. Ready?
Yeah.
These kids. Thank you all for watching. Tune in next Wednesday at 8:30 for our final episode of Speechless. And if you just can't get enough of us, follow us on YouTube at TV Speechless to catch up on all your favorite episodes. Good night, everyone. And until next time, stay speechless, everybody.